Hello, everyone. I am joined by Chris Bolton, our CEO at our Center of Excellence in Panama. A little bit of a scene change, though. He is working out of one of the offices today.
Yeah, thanks, Colleen. I knew you wanted to have an urgent call today. We've got so much planned with you this afternoon, and of course, we have so much coming down the pipe tomorrow. But you said this was very urgent and important, so I'm happy to help. How can I help today?
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we have been receiving an outflow of investor commentary coming from our investors, mainly because of different things that are being reported on different message boards and forums. One of the main things that people are asking about is the RTO, the reverse takeover, in which Sprout went public, and who received stock at the 0.01, 0.05 cent mark. So let's get into that a little bit, because some people think that Theracan received their stock at that price point.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not, Colleen. And as we have it in our long form prospectus, which was filed both preliminary and final on CDAR, that's reflected there. Now, this is a reverse takeover. This company existed before we came along, and the company was a numbered company, and that numbered company had founders, and those founders got their shares at founder pricing. We weren't part of that. Why? If we could have financed our own go public, we would have, like, with all due respect. Now, if this is all public and it is available, and we do have a copy of their minute book when we went through the reverse takeover. If you recall, the number company that they started was then changed into the name of Sprout AI Inc. And then from that, we were able to trade publicly under Sprout AI Inc., right? So let me go ahead and share my screen, because we do have the files of those original founders, and we're going to share this. This is public information.
And while Chris pulls,
transparent as possible. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, and while you pull those up, just to explain a reverse takeover, it's a way that companies can go public, either reverse takeover or an IPO. Oftentimes, what people will do is they will band together with other groups and they will create what's called a shell. And those shells are utilized for a reverse takeover. That is essentially the company that is used to become the public entity. And these shells are used as resources where people can pool together and go through the regulatory approvals to make it a public company. Then a company like Sprout or any other company that does want to go public can seek to purchase one of these purpose-built shells. So it is a common practice within the investment world to utilize a shell to do an RTO. But what's important to know is that shells are created oftentimes far before, and may even sit dormantly before a company will select it to go public. So it's really just a vehicle. So Chris, please go ahead now.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's how it was approached to us, that this shell was existing, that was a public trading entity, and it would save us time in getting onto the Canadian Securities Exchange. Otherwise, we would have done an IPO. For all the work that we went through for the long form prospectus, there was no real benefit otherwise. So what I'm looking at here, and I've opened this up, this is the Central Securities Registrar of Numberco. This was the founding company. If I go into the original share registrar, it's opening now. It should show us the original core founders of that company. Oh, it looks like an eye chart. Let me blow it up so you can see this. Tell me when you can see this, Colleen.
Yep, that's maybe a little bit smaller now. There we go.
A little bit smaller. Okay, I've got 100. There we go, 125. All right. So who were the founders of Numberco? Do you see Theracan there?
No.
Do you see me there?
No.
Do you see any other officer of Theracan or Sprout or any of our other entities there?
No, although it would be great if we were there at that price.
I would have liked, for all the hard work and effort that we've gone through for our shareholders, to have gotten our shares at 1 cent, but that's not us. All right, now that's with regards to August 25, 2020 and November 4th, 2020. In their minute book, they did have the money come in to that shell, which was then used to propel us forward in the RTO. And that was December the 16th. Now, the numbers here is a Numberco. That's not us. We've got Stavro Takakis, that's not us, obviously. And as you can see, as we go through the list, this isn't us. So Colleen, where's that information coming from? This is public registry information. Who is spreading that type of rumor around for what purpose? This clearly was never us, and this information's been there from day one.
Exactly. And this is what we want our investors to understand, is that freedom of speech on the forums is something that we all get the privilege of, but sometimes that freedom of speech spreads misinformation. So Theracan, as you can see from yourselves, has not participated at the 0.01 or 0.05 stock price. That was never part of it. They only participated at the 17-cent RTO listing. So that is where they received their 40 million in change shares. Now, as you will recall, Sprout AI is majoritarily owned by Theracan, and Theracan shares are not currently registered for trading. They are still sitting in the same position that they were upon the RTO, and that is because there is zero interest in selling its shares, which kind of brings us to that next conversation that we have been addressing very often. I know that we've already had the conversation. We did a press release, we answered to the market, but it is a conversation that many investors are bringing to us on a daily basis. And that is the Form 45, of which it is said to have been a loan. Now let's talk about that, because it was not a loan that was actually taking place. Why don't we explain what the actual situation was?
Well, again, how many times can we say this? It was not a loan, it was not a loan, it was not a loan. The founding shareholder of Theracan was myself and Julie Bolton, of course. And as Theracan controlled the majority of Sprout AI, we wanted to signal as we were heading to the market to expand operations and raise additional capital for expansion, not for operation, for expansion, that we put our weight behind this company, and we weren't in the business of selling. And we parked a percentage of our shares in escrow. Now, Colleen, you're absolutely right. We don't have a trading account. We don't have shares that have gone to a brokerage. I can't say that for other founders here of Numberco. But as the lead shareholder in Sprout, we have been the only one that has been active in any of the active trading that we're seeing. Why? Because we know that we haven't seen the valuation for our company yet. And we've been supporting it all the way, Colleen. Mm-hmm. So mm-hmm. I really like for whoever is out there and wishing to spread clear falsities, knowing that this public information is readily available, come see me. Be happy to sit them down, try to understand what issues might they have, meet our staff, see our operations. And more importantly, maybe help me understand of all the publicly traded companies that are out there right now, of which there are a few, that are gainfully making strides in innovation, disruptive technologies like we are, why are we being treated like this?
Exactly. Now, what we want to reiterate to the investors is that form, that third party, was actually an escrow account where these shares were being locked up for a period of 4 months to signal to that group who was considering the substantial investment that shares were being locked up. There would be no intention of flooding the market with them, and there would be no intention of shorting the market with them. This was a proactive measure at the request of this group to ensure that their position would be stabilized and secured. So those shares were going to an escrow account. They were never going to be loaned to a third party for the purpose of shorting. The third party was the lawyer's escrow account.
So with that said, if those are the questions you're getting today, I hope that our transparency has clearly showed the facts. And as I said, Colleen, you've done a great job in handling our shareholders, as no doubt in nervous times around the globe, any rumor, any disinformation can travel like lightning. We want obviously to get ahead of that. Just without further ado, it's just not true. And we'll let the facts sit where they may. So Colleen, let's get back to business. We've got good stories to come out today, and as we said, we've got our funnel full tomorrow. Let's focus on the business. And for those that want to just generate rumors, go find another playground to pick in because it's not us.
That's right. And as always, to our investors, please reach out to us. We answer phone calls, we answer the emails. It may take us a little bit of time due to the flow of conversations being had, but reach out to us because we want to speak with you. We want to provide you with the real facts. Remember that different forums, different areas where you can post your opinion are freedom of speech. So anyone can say anything there. So remember that you should seek facts to be able to be an educated and informed investor.
All right. Thank you, Colleen. Sorry that we had to run from the other great events here, but I'm glad we addressed it. Our commitment is to stay ahead of those type of rumors, bring them forward as you need. I can't always promise to get to my phone fast enough, but these were obviously an important meeting to have today. So thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
My
Take
pleasure.
care.
Thank you.